Hi guys, thanks for joining me. Today I'm reviewing a little brush set from IT Cosmetics. I've had so many questions about the new IT Cosmetics brushes that are being offered at Ulta right now. I chose the You're Easy on the Eyes 2-piece dual-ended eye essentials brush set. This was $28. It's a really cushiony kind of gunmetal looking makeup pouch, zips all the way around. There are a couple of little holders here which I didn't use just now, but they're there for the brushes. And then you have another little pocket here that could hold some more brushes. I'm not typically a fan of double-ended brushes simply because I think they're a pain to store, but if they do offer something like this that, you know, will keep them safe, I guess, I'm happy to see that, and I think that is a really travel-friendly idea. All of these brushes are super soft and they all have the same kind of appearance. It's like the bristles are kind of a two-tone thing. The brush you're looking at now is called the All Over Shadow Brush, and it is labeled right here on the handle. It's pinched a little bit here at the top of the ferrule. Now, on the opposite end, you have what's labeled as a crease brush, and you've just got a pretty full, classic looking crease brush there. And then on the other separate brush handle, this is called the Smudger, something that could be like a smallish crease brush or definitely something you could smudge under your eyes with. And then on the opposite end of that, you have a classic angled liner brush. You can see as I turn it sideways, it's a very fine liner brush. I will say, I can get a total eye look with these four brushes pretty much with no problem. I feel like the look is always blended because you've definitely got, especially with this one brush that has the two fuller type brushes on it, you know, there's plenty of opportunities to blend with either of these. When I saw these in the store, something that really took me over the edge to actually buy the set was the fact that they included this smudger brush, because I thought, okay, there's something where I can really get controlled application of color, like in the outer part of my crease, or get something really buffed out on the lower lash line. The liner brush is always going to be a handy thing that I'm going to want to use, you know, when I'm connecting up to my winged liner. I think what you've got here are four very user-friendly, usable brushes that give you a good eyeshadow look. But generally speaking, I feel like the look I get with these is a pretty soft look, because the one thing that might be missing from this kind of quad of brushes is something that's really going to pack the shadow on the lid in a more precise way. Among these brushes, the one thing you have for that is the one called All Over Shadow. It is, like I said, a little bit pinched. It's a little bit flatter compared to this crease brush, but really, it's a pretty darn full type of brush as well. Maybe you're working with some really intense shadows that could create a little fallout for you. I'm thinking of like the deep shadows in a Wet n Wild 8-pan palette. You're gonna want something really flat, like, I know I love this brush, but my Sonia Kashuk small shadow brush. You know, something flat like this wouldn't even have to be as small, but something that can really place shadow exactly where you want it. Here on this brush, I've got two pretty full brushes, both of them great blenders. And for more subtle, soft looks, I can use the All Over Shadow brush to get shadow, you know, all over my lid. I did that today. But I'm just thinking if I was using a shadow that was more intense, harder to work with, something where the placement exactly on the eye was really important, I would want something flat in here. So I guess that's what I can use this little extra part of the pouch for. You know, pop a different brush in there if there's one that you feel is missing. The palette that I'm kind of testing out along the way as well is the new one from Sigma. It's called Brilliant and Spellbinding. So for starters, I just primed my lids and then I went straight to a matte mid-tone brown crease color with the crease brush. Just got a soft wash of that color there in the crease. Next, I did use that All Over Shadow brush. I used the light kind of shimmery pink shade and did pat that all over the lid. And then I also just used that brush to apply the pink as my highlight up under my brow. Next, I thought it might be fun to work in just a slight bit of the bright pink shade that's in here, so I used the crease brush just to apply a little bit of that right between the crease and the brow. Then using the Smudger brush, I went to this really pretty dark, like kind of burgundy brown, and I started blending that a bit in the outer corner. I also took it just under my eye really softly, and then to get even more intensity, more concentrated color, I used the liner side of the brush with that same shade. There are so many brush kits that I try where I feel like, you know, something's missing, and I don't necessarily feel that way about this kit because, like I said, I can get these really soft, nice blended looks, very happy with the finished effect. Clean up easily. I haven't had any shedding with them. It's almost got a little bit of a slightly rubbery texture to it, and I think that's really comfortable to hold on to. Overall, pretty happy with this little kit of eye brushes. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.